Well, good day, good people. This, of course, is the one and only Spot of Nerd, and we're gonna reflect in this podcast slash YouTube video slash wherever you're watching, listening this. We're gonna reflect. We're gonna try to get our words together. As I've mentioned last time, still a little bit under the weather, so bear with me. This might be a quick one, this might be a long one, I don't know. But let's reflect on the last 2022 year. And I'm pretty sure all of us, there's definitely been some good moments, and you bet your sweet ass there have been some bad ones. So, where do we even begin? I would say 2022, just right out of the gate, probably was the worst year I can remember. Other than, I mean, of course, there's been other years where perhaps where I lost my best friend. I had to give up the zoo world, the zoology world. There definitely have been some bad times, but I think what made this one extra horrible, but in reverse also the best, was, I've always been, it's when you try to find the words to put it, but my whole life I've been told what to do. I think over the last, if you, I apologize, I'm not putting my thoughts together, but the bottom line is, my entire life I haven't really had a lot of support. I've mentioned this, and if you've listened from day one, you can probably understand where I'm coming from. I have not had a lot of support in my life. Family, friends, relationships, everything in between. I've always been told what I should or should not do. So, for example, I have anxiety. Well, then you should just get on with it. Oh, okay. Well, you have chronic pain. Oh, well, you should just exercise. You should just eat better. I've never really had anybody just sit down and say, you know what? That really does suck. I'm sorry you have to go through that. Is there anything I can do? And I'm not talking about, there have been people that have, said, hey, do you need help with XYZ? But I'm genuinely talking about somebody that has just sat down with me and said, hey, I am here for whatever you need. I'm going to drop everything in my own life so that I can help you in this moment. I have never, ever had that. Not even from family or a relationship. Maybe my mom. I'll give my mom credit. She's definitely always been there, but it does get to a point sometimes with your folks where even I will admit you do kind of have to separate yourself a little bit because they won't be there forever, and this isn't a mama's boy, dadda's boy thing. It's a genuine, like, we're all gonna die one day, so eventually you either do have to have that support outside of your family, or you have to figure it out on your own. And that's where the good comes in 2022 is I have figured it out that I am alone, and I'm going to now have to figure out how to go forward knowing that, if that kind of makes sense. And I'll give you a little more here in a moment, but I tried to make that change back early this year, January. I literally picked up everything. I got out of the relationship because, frankly, it was one-sided in my opinion, and I could have been screaming to hell or high water and it wouldn't have done much. But so I tried to change it. I said, fuck it. I packed up all my bags and I moved. I went to Texas because I thought, let's go somewhere. It's a red state where people are conservative, people have the same mindset that I do, etc., so on and so forth. Within a matter of days, I drove back to Washington because I had a complete mental breakdown. And it all came down to my stupid ass health. Now, it is my own fault, I fully admit it, because I did not do the research that I needed to. You know, whenever you're traveling between states or if you're moving to different states, there are obviously many different laws that I now know, so that when I do it next time, I will not make this same mistake. But with all the health problems that I have, and they are numerous, just for example, I have over a dozen specialty doctors. I go to the hospital at least once a week for treatment, so trust me, keeping tabs on my health is a pain in everyone's ass, specifically mine. So I screwed it up. And within days, I had to come back because I did not know what I was going to do to essentially maintain my health. And it broke me. It absolutely broke me. Because as I mentioned, and this is just my opinion, I want to make this very clear. I don't mean this in a genuine, literal sense, but I do feel most times while in Washington that I am in a prison, in a metaphoric prison. I've mentioned this many times throughout this podcast and YouTube where I am hated, I am discriminated against, I am treated like absolute shit by probably 99% of the people around me, all because I think differently, because I support this country, because I support your right to own a firearm. And I'm not even a fucking United States citizen. I am actually a UK citizen, working on becoming a US citizen. But the bottom line is, I have more respect, more love for this country than most of the people living here. So it broke me. It absolutely broke me to have to come back to the prison that I thought I finally got away from. And then it's, I could go down so many roads, but I'll kind of just leave it there because it took a year, and I'm saying we're now, I mean, probably by the time you're listening to this, I release this, it is probably January 2023. It's taken a year for me to finally step up and go, now it's time to go. Now it's time to move. And I've mentioned this many times. Again, you know me, Spot of Nerd, broken record. This last year has taught me the greatest gift of all, and this is why it's also been the best year of my life. It's because for the first time in over 35 plus years, I finally figured it out that I am alone. And the fact is, I have always been alone. I have poured every ounce of my being into this world to help other people, to help wildlife, to help people, to help every single thing around me. And I haven't done shit for myself. And look where it's gotten me. I'm stuck in a place that I don't want to be. I have nobody that's going to support me. Sure, they say they will, but I can barely get somebody to let me borrow $2, let alone take me to a doctor visit. Does it make me angry? No, not anymore. Why would it? Because the fact of the matter is, I'm the one that got duped. I was the one that actually believed these people when they said they cared, when they said they were supportive and they loved me. And obviously, I don't mean that literally. Yes, there are people that care and love and support me. But the bottom line is, this is where I will put myself a bit of a pedestal because there are people that I would have gone to the ends of the earth for if it meant that they could put a smile on their face. And quite frankly, I did. I would travel hundreds of miles. I would travel thousands of miles for these people. I would drop everything at 2, 3 in the morning to go and pick them up from a bar just so they're not dumb enough to drive home drunk. I would hold these people's hands while their boyfriend or their girlfriend ripped them to pieces. And what do I get? When I simply ask, hey, would you mind, could you take me to this doctor visit? I can't drive myself home. Ooh, yeah, I actually can't do that because, I'm gonna be meeting a friend for dinner. Um, yeah, well, the good thing is the appointment's not till 3 in the afternoon, dinner's not till usually about 6. Yeah, that's just not gonna work for me. So, I woke up, and this year was the first time I've ever truly woken up to it, and it's the greatest feeling I have ever felt in my entire life, because now is when I get to live. Every decision I make from now on will be what I want. It will be what I want to do, and it's going to be for the betterment of me. In fact, here's the best parts. I've actually killed probably over half of the medications I'm currently taking. Mainly because, let's be real, physically I'm getting a little bit worse. I won't go down that path right now because that's kind of a bit negative, but the bottom line is, why should I keep taking medications if I'm just getting worse? And I really do hope somebody is listening to this that is on maybe half a dozen to a dozen or plus medications. Ask yourself this question. If you're getting sicker and your doctors are prescribing you more medications, stop taking these fucking medications. Because if you're not getting better, why are you taking these goddamn medications? So for the first time this year, I actually stopped taking a lot of my medications. And wouldn't you know it, I actually do feel better. I'm even exercising. I'm doing yoga. I'm doing my stretches. Sure, I'm not going to be doing a 5K marathon anytime soon. But you know what? In my own way, I actually feel better because I'm not basically feeding my body poison anymore. Yes, there are going to be some medications I have to be on or I'm going to have to take. But the bottom line is, to anybody out there listening, if you are not getting better and they are simply pushing more medications on you, wake the fuck up. Wean yourself off of this shit because it is nothing but poison. They are getting paybacks by prescribing you these medications, by providing you these, quote, injections. It's all basically a business. You are a customer for the pharmaceutical companies. By keeping you on these medications, you're a customer. They do not want you healed because then you are no longer a customer. It is not anything other than fact in that regard. Sorry. Not sorry. No, not sorry at all. Because I'm very passionate about that, specifically health stuff and the government and everything in between. So that's the biggest reason, again, why this has been one of the best years ever, is because I'm not just awake from the politics, the bullshit that, quite frankly, some of you still haven't woken up to, and you'll get there. I have faith. I really do. I do believe God has his plan. I pray for you that you will wake up one day. But I am officially woken. Woken up now. I don't know what the word. I am officially awake, basically. You get my meaning. You know where I'm going with that. And I'm not being dramatic. I promise you, I am not being dramatic at all. I am just simply spilling the truth, just like I always have. And that's going to be the best thing moving forward, is because clearly with this podcast, this YouTube, the way I live my life now, I am never, ever going to be fake ever again. You are only going to get the real me. And in case you haven't noticed, the real me never hated, never discriminated. It was never a bigot or racist. It was simply just being real. And you know what's really sad about the way the world we live in? People get offended by people that are real because they can't understand the fact that somebody has the ability to think for themselves. To them, they are a threat. They are scared of people who think for themselves. And quite frankly, I think deep down they're even envious. They look at people like me and go, man, how do people do that? How do they think for themselves when the TV and my phone tells me to think otherwise? When 2, 3 years ago, I was supposed to buy up hundreds of rolls of toilet paper. For what? How many shits a day are you taking to literally empty the shelves of toilet paper? Don't even get me started on the masks and the waste that we're producing from all of this. You want to talk about plastic in the ocean? Tell you what, take 5 minutes, do a little research on how many masks are now floating in the oceans around the world. It'll make you sick to your stomach. So I encourage you, as my final message of the year and the start of 2023, I genuinely wish you the best, and I really do, wherever you might be, if you're in a good place or if you're in a bad place. You gotta wake up if you haven't already. And if you are one of those folks that finally woke up, you gotta fight like hell, and we gotta get the rest of us there too. Enough is enough. If the masks worked, then why don't they work? If the vaccines worked, why don't they work? If the lockdowns worked, why don't they work? It's the definition of insanity. You do it over and over again and you expect a different result. Life is telling us right now that nothing is changing. Things are only getting worse. Prices are rising, gas prices are rising, electricity costs are rising. And it's funny how nearly 3, 4 years later, our own CDC admits that if you exercise and you eat right, it'll actually protect you. What a crazy concept. But lo and behold, again, those are paths we don't need to go down right now. Let's focus back on, I wish you the best for 2023. I really do. To all my love, to all my love and support to those that continue to follow Spot of Nerd, listen and watch YouTube, the podcast. I genuinely thank you from the bottom of my heart. But we can't do this alone. We have to do this together. We have to get the rest of us fighting like hell, metaphorically speaking, to really make sure that our lives are better for the future. Whether that comes down to the politics, your local, state governments, whatever that might look like. I don't know what it looks like, but just simply supporting each other, I guess, is another way to look at it. I said this even during kind of more of a Christmas level. Is it really that hard to just try and help somebody? The homeless person on the street, maybe buy him a meal, give him a bottle of water, bottle of Gatorade. Is it that really that hard? Just say hi to them, acknowledge them. They are human beings. It's not that hard, people. I mean, you buy a $5 coffee every day. You can't buy one for somebody else. Just try to be better human beings. And my last comment. Enough with the hate because somebody has a different opinion than yours. If there's one thing I hope stops in the future, it's that. We have got to stop this division over bullshit because somebody had a different opinion than yours. That is the whole reason they are winning. And by they, I mean the media, politics, and the government. They want you divided. And the sooner we come together, the sooner they are destroyed. So stop hating somebody because they are different or have a different opinion. There was a time when you used to be able to do that and still come together and be awesome. And I still hold on to hope that that can still happen if we just open our eyes and wake the fuck up. So, with that said, thank you for listening to this TED Talk. I really do appreciate it. Seriously, though, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to all of those folks that celebrate, even whatever holiday you may celebrate. And Happy New Year. Seriously, happiest of New Year's to everyone out there. My huge thanks and love and support to everybody that listens, follows. Please continue to do it. Share me, comment, like, follow, subscribe, wherever you can. Spot of Nerd, so that we can continue this metaphoric fight well into the future. Don't forget, our next episode is going to have the best and worst of 2022. I hope you look forward to that, because sometimes those can be real fun just from some of my commentary. But until then, I really do hope I really do hope that you get something from what I'm saying. You know, I'm just speaking truth. I'm speaking realness. And I hope that maybe somebody somewhere can just listen or see and go, you know what? That actually does make sense, and I can relate that to my own life, and I'm going to change it for the better in my own life. If I can do that, then I know we're in the right direction. We're doing the right thing. And then when you do that, you can then pass that on to somebody else as well. It's a fight of inches, as Steven Crowder from Louder with Crowder says. Every day it's a fight of inches. We can never quit, and I never will. So keep going. Until then, much love, and we will see you guys next year. Get it? I'm gonna go, fuck myself. All right, later, y'all.